guys. We are Stoomboy, the combat companion. So, show's brought to you by Kaizen Fightwear. So, Kaizen Fightwear is obviously a local company in Scotland run by Big Max. Anybody knows Big Max, big jiu-jitsu heavyweight. So, he's put together a company offering some fantastic, funky rash guards. So, obviously, all you jiu-jitsu nerds, as I say, these are some of the you guys with theirs. Definitely head over to Kaizen Fight underscore co on Instagram. Have a look at all the designs, and you'll be able to get the information on how to order and stuff like that through there. So we're going to be talking about Cage Warriors 187. So it's going to be this Saturday, the 19th of April. It's going to be the Braehead Arena in Glasgow. So it's an amazing card already. I mean, as we were looking at the card's absolutely stacked from top to bottom with some of the best pro MMA fighters coming out of Scotland and further afield. So we're definitely in for a fantastic night, another fantastic night in Glasgow. So we can't wait. We're only a few days away now. So it's going to be a very, very exciting night for sure. Now, anybody looking for tickets, if you are going to see a chosen fighter, make sure you hit up that link that the fighters are posting and definitely go to support them. If you're not going to see anybody in particular, just choose a fighter. Do you know what I mean? Make sure you go through the link for any one of the fighters. It's also on UFC Fight Pass. So if you can't make the event on the evening, then make sure you head over to UFC Fight Pass. I don't know if it's true, but Rhys McEwen posted earlier they're letting under 16s in. Right, so obviously under 16s could go. That wasn't able to happen in the first two events. So obviously under 16s are allowed to go. Apparently that's come from Rhys McEwen. Cage Warriors have announced it as well. So take the kids along. As I said, it'll be definitely a fantastic day. So we're going to be going through the special. We're going to be talking to probably the number one coach on the planet at the moment. As I said, James Doolan, so of higher level. Now, James's resume is unbelievable. Do you know what I mean? Just coming from a guy from, Whitburn, obviously a gym in Bathgate, and just the resume, the fighters that have came through, the levels, the champions. Do you know what I mean? It's unbelievable to see what James is doing with these young guys over there at higher levels. So it's going to be great to hear, obviously, some of James's kind of picks for Saturday night. So, but James, listen, absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for, as always, taking the time to speak to me.
Thanks for having us, mate.
Tell us about you, obviously, in the gym at the moment. Tell us about the gym, obviously, the mood in the gym at the moment. I know, obviously, it's probably the most craziest time of the week or of any fight camp is this week because, obviously, everybody's cutting weight and all that kind of stuff.
We've been, for a hectic year, we've been purposely kind of front-loaded the first 4 months of the year with the amateur guys, knowing that we had Cage Warriors coming up in April, and then we've got PFL next month, we've got UFC next month, and then we kind of up and running with the pro guys. So we've just come out a really busy spell with a lot of amateurs and a lot of first-timers kind of, and the last kind of 4 or 5 weeks we've been focusing solely on this Cage Warriors card. We've got 5 guys on it this time. And then we've got 3 on PFL Belfast 4 weeks later, and obviously Paul Craig the week after that. So the gym's busy, as you can imagine. There's challenges trying to juggle the timings of all these different fight camps, make sure we've got the bodies that we need for training partners, and make sure that we kind of liaise with our strength conditioning coaches and dietitians and stuff like that, just to make sure everybody's up to speed with everything that needs to be up to speed with.
Yeah. It's a lot different from years ago. I mean, obviously you were on the same, one of the OGs of the combat sports scene in Scotland, but I mean, there's a lot of different things. I mean, we see the guys going down south. They were doing all what was it they were doing? They were doing like the science and all that behind. Do you know what I mean? Everything. We saw Gemma all down there, Sean Clancy and so on. So there's a lot more into the game now than what there was 15, 20 years ago.
I think it's standard that it's better now. We were fortunate that myself and Paul McVeigh were studying sports science at university, so we had access to that stuff before a lot of other people. But now we don't have to kind of source it and do it ourselves. We can outsource it to the guys that we're working with. So we're fortunate now that there's a bunch of good guys offering that service, and we've got some of the kind of best support network in the game with the guys at Boxing Science, with Adam and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Just making everything easier for us.
definitely. We've got obviously our favourite person. We've got the MMA Yoda, Miles Painter. Obviously, you know Miles. Miles does all the across the pond profiles. So obviously Miles is going to be in the comments, just dropping his kind of picks as well, James. So it's good to obviously have Miles on board. So what we'll do is a big card, James. What we'll do is we'll jump straight into it then. So I'd say quite a few of the fights that are on there. The first one. That we've got coming up is obviously Big Jamie McDonald, Brian Draper. So obviously Big Jamie, his second time out in Cage Warriors. Obviously the first one didn't go to plan, but obviously he's going to come back with a vengeance definitely for this one.
I think so. I think he was off that night. He's a guy, sometimes you watch him and you're like, he's got the potential to go pretty far in the sport. Even as an amateur, you could see that in him. And then sometimes it looks like he doesn't want to be there. To be fair, Cage Warriors have not matched him easy. The French boy that he had was a highly decorated amateur, and he's fought since then and won again. He looked pretty good. And then the guy they've got now is obviously coming for a very good team in Team Rhino. They've got the champion at welterweight. They've got a long history of producing good fighters. So he's in a weight class where there's not a lot of fighters, but the guys that they're matching him with, they're not making it the easiest for him.
Yeah. But that's the thing. I mean, Jamie, you know yourself. If Jamie comes out and he's got the right head and he comes out, he's an absolute nightmare for anybody.
He is. It seems like when he's in the mood, he operates at a very good level. He can mix stuff up and stuff like that. So I give me that fight. Yeah. The one thing you always get with the Irish guys is they will always come to fight. They've got that mentality. I think even back in the day, like 20 years ago, you knew if you were fighting an Irish guy, they would not come in and lie down for you. So you know you're going to get that. So I think it's a good fight. It's one of the things. I think Jamie's back up at heavyweight, so anything can happen at heavyweight. But I think if he turns up on the night, I was always quite impressed with his boxing. Actually, when he was coming up, he seemed to spend a bit of time strictly at a boxing gym, and when he's confident and stuff like that, he can cause problems with it. But I don't know too much about the Irish lad, other than that he's for a very good team, and Andy Ryan wouldn't let him turn over for amateur to pro if he didn't believe he was ready for it.
Yeah. Definitely going to be an exciting one. Obviously, Miles just given his prediction, reckons it's going to be McDonald TKO round 1. Do you know what I mean? I can see it going quick. I can see it definitely going quick. So obviously a big shout out to Jamie. I'll be there, obviously cheering him on anyway, as always. So yeah, we'll see exactly what Jamie's going to do on the day. So obviously the next one. This next one's a very, very exciting one. I was a bit disappointed. Obviously, you had two Scottish guys going against each other. I know we've got a couple of fights like that, but Aaron Towns and Jack Foot. Now, these are two guys that probably could have met at amateur. Like a lot of Scottish fighters could have met at amateur. And I mean, Jack Foot, in my eyes, is do you know what I mean? This is a debut that everybody's looking forward to. Do you know what I mean? Because we see what he done as an amateur. He had some wins, he had some losses, but he kind of learned from it. He went to Thailand. Obviously, he had obviously a training camp out of Thailand. Came back, fought Jazz Beg, and put on probably one of the best performances I'd seen him in. And then obviously went over to Canada as well, and obviously got some training out of TriStar. So that's very exciting matchup for me to see.
I think the all Scottish ones just bring a wee bit something different to it, to the card. I think unfortunately with this one and with the one with Reggie, it means one of the Scottish guys is going to get set back. But you've got, I don't know what age Towns is, but he seems to have been about a lot longer. Seems a bit older, whereas Jack's obviously a younger lad. I think I've not seen Aaron Towns in a while. The last time I seen him, he fought Kieran Reid for hours, and he got grappled for 3 rounds. It was meant to be a 5-round fight, and he never came out for round 4. And I know that Jack, when he is home's grappling quite a bit with Craig McIntosh's crew, so he's quite a crafty, tricky little grappler. I know Aaron's for a kickboxing background. When I've seen him in fights where he's allowed to strike and people give him the time and the space to strike, he's quite smart with that shit. It's an interesting fight, that one. It seems to be, even though it's a pro debut for both of them, one of them, Jack Foot, seems to be he's a young prospect. He's got a lot of time to develop and stuff like that. And Aaron, if a bit older and stuff like that, is probably just decided I'm going to have a pro fight. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I don't really want to call these fights, you know what I mean, so I offend people, but if you're to make me bet, I'm probably going to think Jack Foot's current form, he's been a bit more active and stuff like that, just a bit younger. Again, you mentioned he's probably not got the commitments that Aaron's got in terms of he can do nothing but train. He can travel about training and shit like that. So I'm hoping it's a good fight, man. I hope both guys give good accounts of themselves. And then they can press on from there.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be exciting. I remember being there for Jack Foot's very first fight. Obviously his very first fight, Evolution of Combat, against Ellis Pilkington at the time. So and the two of them put on an absolute war. And as I say, Jack's one of the guys that he's improved with every single fight. And as I say, the training that he's had, I mean, going over to Thailand, getting some training over there, training over at TriStar. And, I mean, I don't know if you saw some of the videos. He was doing some kind of some grappling over there. I think they had like in-house competitions, and he was submitting guys left, right, and centre. Do you know what I mean? So, and it just showed the level that he was at. And as you said, Aaron Towns, coming from a kickboxing background, he's going to want to keep it on the feet, of course. He's not going to want to go to the ground. Anytime I've really seen Aaron, and I've seen him a few times, he's that type of fighter. He doesn't want to go to the ground. Don't get me wrong, I'm pretty sure he's worked on it. They've worked on it, certainly going into the pro debut. So, but it's going to be a very, very exciting. As you said, unfortunately, for one of them has to take a step back. One of them wins, moves forward. One of them obviously goes back the way. So, and Miles as well, just saying he reckons it's going to be Aaron Towns by split decision. So Miles did say he was going to be controversial in all of this. So we'll definitely see what else he's got. But yeah, Aaron Towns split decision. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Next one, obviously, Reggie Hingston, Gary Priestley. That's going to be very, very exciting as well.
It's a kind of similar setup to the last one, where you've got Reggie's young, just coming out of quite a successful amateur career, and then you've got Gary, who's again been about for a long, long time. I think this one's a wee bit trickier in terms of Gary's quite a crafty fighter, and he's got some stuff that he does very good just about in every kind of area of the game. I think naturally he's a wee bit stronger and more powerful than Reggie. When you see them physically, he looks a bit more physical. Reggie, he had a bit of a rough start with the debut at Cage Warriors. In the last one, he had a good fight, and it was quite exciting until he got caught. But I think he'll probably be a wee bit more settled in this time. He's seen the setup. It's sometimes a very hard thing for these guys when they're going through regional shows up here, especially if you pick certain shows, like if you're on Budo or Forza and stuff like that, and you're in a minors club. And no disrespect, but the standard's not like the highest. It's not like you're getting all the attention that some of the better amateur shows give you, and then you're missing certain steps, and now you're having a pro fight on Cage Warriors at Braehead Arena. That stuff can kind of set some people back if they're not mentally ready for it and stuff like that. And I don't know how much of that was a factor with Reggie in the last fight. But I think having that last fight and being in front of that crowd and stuff like that will definitely settle him a wee bit better. He obviously knows the opponent a wee bit more now with Gary. He'll know that he grapples a lot. He's competing a lot in grappling and stuff like that. He'd have seen him. I think Gary's last pro fight was on Budo, and you can get a look at the fight, and so you maybe know what he's going into a wee bit more there. I do think it is pretty much like the last fight in terms of Gary's probably got a big advantage on the grappling.
Yeah.
I don't know how his wrestling is for MMA. I know in grappling comps he can jump into legs or he can pull guard and stuff like that. So I don't know what Reggie will be doing in terms of trying to shut that down. I think people probably don't remember, but amateur Gary was actually quite a hard little puncher. He was a wee bit different. He moved a bit different for how he moved. His last fight, I remember him, he moved a wee bit more erratic. There was a lot of footwork just for the sake of footwork. And not a lot of kind of process with his striking, but you knew if he gets his grappling going, he can cause problems there. It's a good fight, that, man. I think Reggie's similar to Jamie McDonald, has shown in glimpses. He's got a lot of potential, and all the skill is there. He just needs to untap it and let it happen on the night where he's maybe be confident with it and kind of settle in. And if he loses a round, just not to lose the confidence and fight back. Do you know what I mean? But it's an exciting fight, that one. Again, unfortunately, one of them's going to lose, and their career's going to be set back a wee bit. It would probably be a harder thing to take if it's Reggie. It means he's 0-2 at Cage Wars. Again, he's a young boy. Whereas Gary, a bit older and stuff like that, has probably got no aspirations of fighting in 5 years, making runs at titles and whatever. I'm not sure, but it's one of the fights. It's that youth first experience type of thing.
Yeah. As you say, Gaz's grappling's unbelievable. Do you know what I mean? They do a lot of kind of wall work stuff, and wrestling's awesome as well. As you said, wrestling for MMA, do you know what I mean? Obviously, it's a very, very different. So we'll definitely see that. I think that's going to be a very, very exciting one. I think what Reg does is gets dragged into dog fights. Do you know what I mean? He gets dragged into a lot of dog fights. I saw that throughout his amateur career. Do you know what I mean? Where he got dragged into things that he probably shouldn't get dragged into. He can use his distance, obviously, a bit better. But again, I'm sure they'll have worked on it. They'll have worked on it for sure. Because the last thing he wants is to have Gary Priestley dragging him to the ground. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, Gaz is fantastic on the ground. So, going to be an exciting one. Miles just coming in, reckons it's going to be Reggie, round 2 TKO. So, yeah, listen, let's see what happens on Saturday. Let's see what happens for sure. So, Callum Howie just coming in as well, just saying, can't wait for Cage Warriors 187. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. So, moving on to one of the guys. Now, this next guy is one of yours, James. Now, this guy, I've been absolutely buzzing to see this guy step out at pro. And I've heard a lot about him. A lot of people have spoke to me about him. Jake Cross at Empire Grappling had a lot of great things to say about him and so on. And a few other people as well, when we did the interview with him, had a lot of great things to say about him. But Chris Morris up against Christian Soda. Tell us about Chris.
So Chris would have been one of the best amateurs in the country for a bit. I think he held lightweight and welterweight titles at UQFC. He's got a massive record. He's 10-2. He's got a points loss to Josh O'Connor, who's doing excellent at Arisa now, and a loss to Dennis Frimpong, who's doing really well at Octagon. He's got wins there, very good fighters. He's got wins there, Wes Tully. He's got wins there, a guy from Portugal called El Machado, who won the IMAFs at Europeans. He's currently 2 or 3-0 at pro. And he's had a bit of time out. He's obviously was coming up here for camps for amateur and stuff like that, and then he's relocated up here. So I think he actually got offered to be on the Manchester card at Cage Warriors, and we opted to put him on up here with the rest of the team. He's got a good opponent in Christian Soda. Is again a good fighter with a big amateur pedigree. Both these lads have had 10+ amateur fights against very good guys like Christian Soda. Recently had a points loss to Jack Grundy, who's maybe one of the best prospects in Europe. So it's a hard fight. It's one of these things Cage Warriors have started doing in the last year and a bit, where they take 2 prospects at the same weight and they pair them, and it's sink or swim a wee bit. So it's going to be a good fight, that one. It's one of the more even fights on the card.
Yeah. Definitely looking forward to seeing Chris. Because as I said, I heard a lot about him, and I mean, Jake Cross at Empire Grappling talked about his grappling skills, and talked about how good a grappler he was. Do you know what I mean? And just saying he was absolutely amazing. And obviously Jake, is in the obviously the MMA scene down south as well. And just said, as you said, as an amateur, he was unbelievable. Do you know what I mean? A really, really unbelievable grappler and MMA fighter. And then obviously going pro, adding in the knees and elbows and stuff like that, which opens his game completely up. So it's definitely one I'm looking forward to seeing. Can't wait to see Chris step out. And he looks like a stockier version of Stephen Clancy with the hair and all that kind of stuff. What's up with the hair at higher level, James?
They two have a bet. Whoever loses the mullet first loses, type of thing. So that's basically why they've both got ridiculous mullets. They're trying to outlast the other guy.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's going to be exciting. I can't wait to see Chris on Saturday night. And then Miles just coming in, reckons it's going to be Morris, second round rear naked choke. I think it's going to be quicker than that, Miles. I honestly do think it'll be quicker than that. So I think obviously Chris is going to come out and he's going to overpower the guy. I know that Christian's obviously a great fighter, really, really good fighter. But I reckon Chris is going to come out and make a statement on Saturday, just like a few guys on Saturday night are going to. So we're definitely looking forward to seeing that one. Another one of your guys, the Ferret, Ian Postlethwaite, up against Tom Wright. And Ian's one guy that, I mean, Ian, do you know, I mean, I've seen Ian in fights and I've seen him go out there and absolutely dominate people, and I've seen him in bad waters. And the one thing he's got is a lot of heart, which pulls him through and coming out victorious. We saw that at TKC where he won the TKC belt. And do you know what I mean? He was put in the very, very bad waters in round one, and he came out in the second round. And as soon as he got close to the guy and he got his hands on him, he dragged him down and then just submitted him. So again, this is going to be a very, very exciting fight for Ian.
Yeah, it's a good fight. Tom's a good lad as well. Spent a bit of time with him in France. He was on the Aris card that Mark fought on, and he's a very, very good little professional. His game's pretty well rounded. He's surrounded by very good people. And him and Ian should be a really interesting kind of clash of styles. Tom's a wee bit more free and looser with striking and stuff like that, and Ian's a wee bit stockier and kind of more power based with his striking. And they're different shapes as well. Ian's obviously a bit shorter, more compact, but Ian just generally doesn't have boring fights. Like you said, he's got a habit of getting himself in trouble and having to fight out it. This is obviously something we've been trying to take out his game. But Tom's at a level where if Ian isn't on point, Tom will get him. You've seen him with his last Cage Warriors fight.
Yeah.
So it'll be a good fight, that one. Both of them are what you'd want out of professional MMA fighters. They're both going to turn up in shape. They both get good skill sets, and they'll be a good test for each other.
Yeah. Ian's talked about the training, obviously, since coming to you guys full time, and he's talked about it. He said it's absolutely changed. Do you know what I mean? His game, changed his outlook and stuff like that. He loves as well when he comes in. He's able to bring the family in, just like you guys all bring your families in, kids and all that. And he said it makes him a better fighter having his family there every single step of the way. So yeah, definitely one guy. Absolutely love seeing Ian going out there. So yeah, fingers crossed he's going to have a great night on Saturday. And Miles just reckons it'll be Ian round one arm triangle choke. So so we'll see. I know Ian's going to submit the guy. I mean, as I said, don't get me wrong, he's got some power in them hands. But yeah, Ian, I reckon that he's definitely going to submit him. How he's going to submit him, Miles, we'll see on Saturday night for sure. Then Billy McCann just coming in and saying Ian Postlethwaite is an absolute machine. And obviously he's looking forward to seeing him on Saturday night. So next one then is Igor Voitas and Raz Bring. So Igor, as we know, we saw Igor on the first Glasgow show. Obviously put on a kind of more kind of wrestling based performance. As I said, he got the victory. But you see that in a lot of Igor. It's just all about dominance and about wrestling, taking them down and stuff like that. So obviously again, that'll be another exciting one for both of them guys on Saturday.
I don't know Raz. too much, but Igor's a very competent grappler. I think if he can get his grappling going, he can cause problems.
Yeah.
For just about anybody in that weight class. The only time we've seen that kind of shutdowns when he fought like Shad or Sham Hack, whatever the one of the Hack bros he fought who didn't let him get his grappling going. But has he been on the 2 Glasgow shows?
No, I think he was on the first one. Didn't get. I don't think he got on the second one at all. No.
Right. So the one he did fight in Glasgow was quite impressive that night. So again, I don't know too much about the other kids, so hopefully it's a good fight.
Yeah, Miles just reckons it's going to be Igor, unanimous decision. That's probably right. I probably reckon that's going to be right as well. I reckon if it does go the distance, then Igor's going to definitely come away with the unanimous decision. So next one then, obviously Jordan Strong, Chris Hayes. Now this is a guy. Chris Hayes spent a lot of time in Scotland. Obviously trains under obviously a guy you know, Sean Voss. And so he spent a lot of time in Scotland. Obviously, he does a lot of grappling. He's more kind of known so for grappling. And it's been a long time since he was in the cage fighting an MMA fight. And I know Jordan Strong, I spoke to him, and Jordan said, certainly in his first fight when he came at the Glasgow show, he didn't believe ring rust until he stepped in there. And he said there maybe was a little bit of ring rust. So I don't know. It might be the same for Chris Hayes when he steps in on Saturday night, just having a little bit of ring rust going against somebody of Jordan Strong's level.
I think Chris is in for a bad night, to be fair. He competed against Ian Postlewaite at ADCC at under 70. He's not a big dude, and Jordan's quite big at the weight, and he's quite a dynamic striker. I think Jordan turns up there, and he's coming off a bad performance to Jordan Little. I think it was it Jordan Little, but he didn't show up the first time anyway, like he's saying. I think he's going to take that out on his opponent on Saturday. I think it's a bad fight for Chris.
Yeah. I mean, Chris is one thing. I mean, as you see, if it goes to the ground, do you know what I mean? Obviously, Chris is he's a decent grappler. Obviously, a good black belt. Obviously, the guys at Sean Voss and I know the guys at Results Gym. I know he's up there just now, so they'll be putting him through his paces just now. So yeah. I mean, Jordan Strong. He came on. He got that first. I think he came on the first Glasgow show, and as I said, it was his first fight, and I can't remember. I think it was a couple of years. And then he came out for the second Glasgow show, and he absolutely run through his opponent. So obviously this one, I think, again, I think as you said, he's a bigger guy. He's very, very big for that weight division. So yeah, could be a horrible night for Chris, definitely. And then Miles just saying Strong, he reckons Jordan's taking it round 2 KO. So definitely round 2 KO. So again, we'll see what happens Saturday night. So next one of yours, Ryan Campbell, Sean Fraser. Obviously, Ryan's just kidding. I don't think he's been over at you guys for long, has he? He's not been over that long.
No, it's been about, I think it's maybe January or something. So it's not.
Yeah.
It was just before we started looking at fights from him and stuff like that. We obviously kind of knew who he was for watching him fight and stuff, but he's settled in really well here. He's in a very, very good group of training partners at that weight with Mark, Ewan, with Lorenzo, with Dylan Took. You've got Coonley and Sean, a weight class up, and then we've got a bunch of younger lads with big amateur records there as well. And he's improved since moving here, and he already had a pretty good game. He's very aware. He has processed to win fights, which at a 2-0 professional, most guys on there, they're still trying to find out, they're still trying to figure out their style or their process and shit like that, and he seems to have that kind of dialed in. In training, he's not scared to try other things as well, which is cool, because some of these guys just come in and they do their A-game stuff, they just do what they know they're good at, whereas he's not like that. He's trying to adapt and get better. With that being said, he's maybe got the most even fight on the entire card, I think, with the guy for GB Top Team. He's similar record. He's beat Tarek Pell, who was kind of highly regarded and stuff like that. He's not going to be a slouch coming for that team. Again, athletic and big at the weight with a good skill set is, again, for me, that's probably the most even fight on that card. The two of them are no mirror images each other, but they're very, very close.
Yeah. Absolutely love Ryan as well. I mean, obviously, followed his career from amateur right through into professional. Do you know what I mean? And as he's always brilliant to watch, and as he's one of these guys that keeps improving. But I mean, like all fighters, I mean, I tell all fighters, do you know what I mean? If you're serious about what you're doing, you need to go to a higher level. You need to go and train with these guys. Do you know what I mean? Like the amateurs, the professionals, and stuff like that. So, and that's exactly what he's done. He's obviously made the move. And we're going to see exactly what he's going to do on Saturday night. But as I say, I'm looking forward to a much improved Ryan Campbell for sure.
I am excited for that fight because Ryan's in here and he's pretty quiet. He's soft spoken and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you can see just kind of simmering beneath the surface there. There's something fucking going to come out in that cage. I'd imagine he's kind of got that thing that Sean's got, where you're like, he's potentially very violent. And I think obviously it's the first fight working with him and stuff like that, so it's always quite an important one for me, obviously for him and for the gym. And again, he's got a really good opponent here. If he beats him, people are going to take notice. It's a very good fight, that one.
Yeah. So Miles just saying he reckons Ryan's taking it split decision, and then just saying he agrees exactly what you said. Obviously being quiet, do you know what I mean? And then because you know yourself, I mean, a lot of these guys are quiet in the gym, or do you know what I mean? They're quiet, softly spoken, and all that. But then as soon as they lock that cage door, it's just a completely different animal. Do you know what I mean? And we've seen that over the years. Do you know what I mean? A lot of really nice, timid people. Not timid, I wouldn't say timid, but yeah, totally different person when that cage door closed.
We call that the switch. You need to turn the switch on, and I think he's definitely got that, I think.
Yeah. Next matchup then is probably one of the most violent guys out there at the moment, Damon Donald. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, we saw he's always a fan favourite to watch, James. Obviously up against Ite Tratner. But yeah, Damon Donald again. I got the chance to speak to him and Paul McBain earlier last week, and it was all about violence for the two of them. Do you know what I mean? They said, "What do you expect to see? It's just going to be violent."
I love Damon Donald. I think he's a mad bastard. You know, when some of these fighters are talking about being violent and this and that, you're like, you're full of shit. You're faking that, whereas he isn't faking it. He was like that as an amateur. Like, he was 100 mile an hour. You can see it. He's that all gas, no brakes. He's no going in there thinking about pacing himself out of the 3.5s. He's going to get in and he's going to try and put a pace and cause problems and see if you can deal with it. And he's looked great at pro so far. He's a guy I think Cage Warriors should be pushing a wee bit more, and it's on the strength of his performances. He's exciting. He's like a Scottish Tobias Hariola, if that's a comparison. Like, you know, when that guy fights, you're getting some chaos, and generally somebody's getting fucked up. And Damon's got that. Again, he's been down here and trained, and they've got a good wee setup up there in Aberdeen. I think having Paul there all the time, the two of them can push each other. They've got very good. They've got access to very good guys in each kind of area of MMA separately. So they've got good Thai boxers up there. They've got good jiu-jitsu guys up there, and if they put it together, they can make it work. But I think Damon in front of a Scottish crowd is a problem. Unless you can match that intensity, then you're fucked, because it can throw you off. And unless the guy is, and I don't really know too much about the opponent, but see, unless he is miles better than him technically, I don't see how he beats Damon. I think he just beats him on pure will to win and physicality, and that's how that fight will play out. But he's the guy that they should never have a card up here without him. Like, he's just I would have had him opening the main card or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's just an exciting young guy, and like I said, you know exactly what you're getting with him.
Yeah. One of the funniest things I saw was, I can't remember, was it the last one where the guy, he'd finished the guy, or not, he didn't finish the guy, sorry. The guy gave up, and Damon was pissed off because he never got the knockout. Do you know what I mean? He'd won. Do you know what I mean? You'd won, the guy quit, and Damon was more annoyed that he never finished him off. Do you know what I mean? So, and that's just the type of guy, he wants to finish everybody.
It just tells you everything you need to know about his character. Like, he's almost offended the guy quit. And he should be. Like, when you sign up for these fights, you're trying to do the exact opposite of quitting. You're like, I'm going to go through adversity here, and I'm going to work my way out it. Especially in Cage Warriors, you shouldn't be getting easy fights in Cage Warriors. You know it's going to be, if you win there, you're going to have to work for it. And again, I thought that was brilliant. Damon being upset that he quit.
Because I remember I'm sure you posted about it. You put a post up about it, talking about how, do you know, I mean, there was that fight where Damon wanted to finish the guy, and then there was another fight later on where the two guys, do you know, I mean, just looked like they didn't want to be there.
Yeah. And that's the thing that makes him stand out a wee bit compared to some of the other guys on the card. Because he wouldn't do that. You need to hurt him. You need to switch him off or put him in a position where the ref stops. But he fucking won't do that. And the fact he was offended by that, I like it.
Definitely. So Miles just coming in. He reckons it's going to be round one doctor stoppage. Do you know what I mean? So, do you know what I mean? This is Damon Donald. I mean, anything can happen. Do you know what I mean? I'd say anything can happen at all. So, I'd say it's always exciting. It's always exciting seeing him out there. So, this Saturday is going to be no different for sure. So, and then one other guy is obviously his coach, Paul McBain, up against Bailey Gilbert. Now, obviously, we spoke to Paul again earlier in the week, and we talked about this could be his swan song. This could be the final one for him. So, and obviously, I said to him, obviously, if it is the final one, if you do decide to hang it up, obviously, a big thank you, because we've seen some memorable moments from him over the years as well.
Aye, he's very similar to Damon. Like, you know exactly what you're getting when he fights. I've been fortunate to see a lot of his fights. I think I was in the corner for one as well, but he's going to turn up. He's also a mad bastard. Like, you can see he loves it. Even for his walkout, you see some of these guys walking out and they're trying to act like they're calm, and you can sense and almost smell that they're not, which is fine. Like, you should be scared and nervous there. But Paul isn't like that. He's walking out with a big smile on his face, just soaking it all in, and he loves it. The opponent he's got is a good one. I think it'll make for a good fight. He was on the Newcastle show. He was on the undercard when Sean fought. I think he had an upset win that night. I can't remember who fought, but he fought well, that kid. So he's no mug. But Paul's got that thing in that we spoke about with Damon, where trying to recreate the conditions of fighting him in the gym compared to on fight night with the intensity. It's virtually impossible, because he's going to come at you 100 mile an hour. He's not going to give you any peace. He's going to throw stuff with bad intentions, and he's going to be happy wherever the fight goes. And if you give him an inch to hurt you, he's going to be bouncing elbows off you and stuff like that. And that can spook some guys. I know his opponent's he's an experienced guy as well, but Paul's been in there with good people, man. It's a good fight, that one as well. Again, I kind of edge towards Paul with the home crowd. I think you need to do something spectacular to stop him in front of that crowd. I think generally when somebody's talking about retiring, walking in there and getting into the cage sometimes isn't a good thing with that thought in your mind, because you're thinking this is the last one. But I think that might work the other way with him. I think he will go out and he'll be like, this is my last one. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to leave everyone in the cage, and the other guy's going to have to put me out. To win.
He did say that. He did say that in the interview. He said that this, because it's the last one, he said he's coming with everything. He's throwing everything at this guy, and he says this guy's not beating him. This guy's not beating him at all.
Sometimes that's the difference when somebody just refuses to lose. Like, again, I think beating Paul in Glasgow is you need to be a wee bit special to do that. And I think it'll be a good night for the two lads for Aberdeen.
Yeah. Obviously, Miles just coming in. Reckons it's going to be Paul, round 3 TKO. So again, we'll see what happens. So another comment coming in. Big Rob Cunningham just saying, evening, gents. Hope you're well. James Doolan, one of the best coaches in Europe. So obviously, Big Rob. We love Big Rob, big heavyweight from down south. Obviously, he trains with obviously Aspinalls. The Aspinalls have put together that big heavyweight training camp. So obviously, him being part of that. So he's doing very, very well at the moment as well. So, so definitely a big shout out to Rob.
I appreciate that, man. It's like a super team the guys have built. It's tremendous.
Yeah.
Tom Stad and stuff, obviously, they're doing really well.
Big heavyweight team for sure. So, then the next one, obviously, again, another exciting guy that we love to see, Aidan Stephen, up against Jordi Backus. So, Aidan's one of the guys. I mean, it's always disappointing for Aidan because he gets a fight, the guy pulls out, and I think there's not a guy pulled out just after the weigh-ins and stuff like that. And do you know what I mean? So it's always kind of upsetting because I think I was Newcastle. Newcastle, he turned up and the guy weighed in, and then literally I think it was a couple of hours after it, then pulled out because for whatever reason. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, Aidan's definitely going to bring it on Saturday night as always.
Yeah, good fight. Complete kind of polar opposites in terms of skill sets. I think if you watched Jordi Back's last fight, it was against Nick Bagley. Was it Nick Bagley? Begley, the kid for the GB top team. That's the blueprint to beat him. Take him down, he'll give you his back, take his back, and that is generally what Aidan is very, very good at. He's exceptionally good back taker. I think when he gets on your back, he can stay there for as long as he wants, and he's quite creative with his striking and his finishes for there. And then if you lose that, he's got a good darce, kind of Japanese necktie game as well. So I know Aidan's no slouch on the feet and stuff like that, but I think the only place back is dangerous is on the feet. So I expect if Aidan can get his grappling working, he can have his way on the ground with that kid. The guy's obviously he's physical. It's a catch weight this fight. It's a good fight. He has got that element. If he lands clean on Aidan, he can hurt him. He is a nice puncher. He's got a bit of variation. He strikes with knees and elbows and stuff like that as well. Quite composed and confident on the feet. But it is almost like a striker versus grappler thing in terms of how Aidan gets the win. Again, it's good just to see him getting these opportunities. Like you said, he's been about a long time. He's been a great servant for Cage Warriors. He's fought some fucking really good fighters there. He's had some great performances. He's obviously involved with that tournament and shit like that. And again, he's just a good lad. Do you know what I mean? He's going to turn up and he's going to fight and hopefully it's a good night for him.
Absolutely bonkers as well. I mean, it must be something in the water up there, James. So
as soon as you get that Forth Road Bridge, it's fucking just gets madder and madder.
Yeah. So obviously Aidan's bonkers, but as you said, he's been a great Cage Warriors representative. Do you know what I mean? He's flew the flag for Scotland in Cage Warriors. Do you know what I mean? So, and he's been around for a number of years, so it's definitely good. And I mean, Aidan's one of the guys I'd love to see him at some point get a title shot. Do you know what I mean? I think he's been so close on a couple of occasions. Do you know what I mean? I would love to see it. Do you know what I mean? Give him his chance. Do you know what I mean? See what happens, and then go from there. Do you know what I mean? But he's always one guy. He's always been so close, but he just never got it. He never got it.
It's one of the things where if the chips fall a different way, sometimes some of the fights. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if maybe somebody had managed them a wee bit better with the taking certain fights at certain times, because you know if Cage Warriors message him and say, do you want to fight this guy on this date, he's going to say yes. And sometimes you need somebody to look after you, whether it's a coach or a manager in the bigger picture, trying to navigate you through potential fucking banana skins and stuff like that. But again, he's one of the guys. He can beat just about anybody in Europe on the night at his weight. He's got that ability. And again, you can see it in spells with him. Sometimes he's doing some very, very cool stuff in there. And again, I'm hoping to see that Saturday from him just because he kind of deserves it.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, Miles just coming in. Reckons it's going to be Aiden round 2 TKO. I don't know. No, I reckon Aiden, if it's going to be a finish for Aiden, Aiden's going to submit him. Do you know what I mean? As you said, James. Do you know what I mean? I said people know how to beat his opponent. They know how to beat Jotty. Do you know what I mean? So, and that's the thing. As soon as people see that, and you know what MMA is like. As soon as you see not a weakness, but as soon as you see, look, this guy, do you know what I mean? He'll get submitted. He's a lot easier to submit than he is to TKO or knockout. So I reckon Aiden's going to go straight for that. He's going to take him down and then look to definitely submit him. So, but again, another great fight put on by Cage Warriors. So, moving on to another one of your guys, Keir Harvey, Alexandros Mutzis. Now, my pronunciation is absolutely horrible, but Keir Harvey, another awesome guy. Do you know what I mean? As he's been around for a while. He's brilliant to watch. Really, really brilliant to watch. And he's one of the guys. I don't know what he's like in the gym, but he seems like a dead quiet guy. He seems like a quiet guy when he comes in, and he's all about business.
He's quite laid back in general, Keir. You can see it in his demeanour and stuff like that. And that changes when he fights. Keir's one of these guys, and he knows, like, this isn't like a secret, but he's one of these guys sometimes that can be frustrating in the gym. But you can count on him turning up every time he fights. There's never been a time where he's not turned up. He's on a very good run at Cage Warriors. He's 3-0 there now. He's got a good opponent here in this Greek kid who's 8-0, which is like getting to 8-0 is a feat in itself. He's fought guys regional level and stuff like that, and he's obviously moving up to Cage Warriors at a better level than where he's used to and stuff like that. But he's got an 8-0 record for a reason. And Keir's a hard fight for a Cage Warriors debut. Like he's going to get in your face, and he's going to push the pace, and he's going to mix it up. He just beat a very good fight on Rory Evans, who's a guy he's one of my favourite guys to watch. Just solid professional. Yeah. And I think Keir's just kind of building a wee bit of momentum now. So he gets this next guy out of the way. He gets the fight on Saturday with this 8-0 kid. And he's without really noticing it, he's now 4-1 Cage Warriors with a good win at featherweight over Manny Akpan, who's a danger, and then these two guys at bantam. So I think what you're going to see is just a typical Keir Harvey fight. He's going to come out and he's going to try and set a pace and see if the other guy can match it. And then if there's a sign of the other guy matching it, Keir will shift and change stuff up. He's quite a smart fighter instinctually. I know he's keen to get a finish. He's talked kind of openly about that. Like, I think when you're looking at progressing in the division or progressing from Cage Warriors to bigger platforms, the finishes is going to be a factor. So I think he's going to push for that, which will make it quite an exciting fight. I don't know massive much about the Greek kid. We get sent some footage of him and stuff like that, but when they send you footage, you can't overanalyze it too much, because the guy in the footage for 6 months ago is not the guy you're getting on the night of the fight. He's going to be different. He's going to develop, or he's progressed athletically, or he might have even slowed down athletically. So you can't put too much kind of stock in the footage. But we've had a look at him. You can see what the guy wants to do, like what he prefers to do, and stuff like that. And Keir's prepared very well. He's been on point a wee bit more with his strength conditioning and stuff like that for this fight. And the byproduct of that should be him putting the pace. It should be an output on the night with him trying to bump the pace up.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I love watching Keir out there. Do you know what I mean? And as I said, if obviously he goes 4-0, do you know what I mean? And again, he can't be that far away from a title shot. Do you know what I mean? He can't be that far away at all. So they're obviously thinking about it. Do you know what I mean? If he does go 4-0, where do they go with him next? So it's obviously in their mind. So, I reckon Keir's going to come out and do what he always does. Do you know what I mean? And just run through people. So Miles saying the same thing as well. Round one, he reckons Keir takes it as well. So, and then next one, Michael Blair, Matthias Poron. So again, Michael Blair. Michael Blair was always one of the ones I talked about. Is I still remember seeing him and Mark Ewan's pro debut. And I talked to Michael all the time. I thought it was crazy the two of them went head to head on their pro debut. Do you know what I mean? Because I thought it could have. They were both dangerous opponents for each other. They were both, I think, they were 1 and 2 ranked amateurs. So but since then, obviously, he's got better and better. I know he lost his first Cage Warriors outing. They took, I think it was like 2 weeks' notice, or it was a week's notice or something. So, but obviously done well in his last two, and obviously looking to come out for this one as well and do the same thing.
Yeah, he's a good fighter. He's pretty solid everywhere. That was pretty much the reason why we wanted that fight for Mark. When it got offered for Mark, there's a general route sometimes with these guys where you have them in a big amateur career like Mark was, where he was ranked number 1 in the UK, and Michael was the same. He had a big amateur career. And then sometimes they turn pro and they actually take a step back in level of competition. It's kind of similar to like a boxing model where you start putting them in with different styles to get experience and get used to the gloves and the 3-5s and stuff like that. And these two boys never done that. They obviously went pro debut against each other, and it's got the same kind of consequences as some of the fights we spoke about earlier, where one of these guys is going to get derailed, and Michael's kind of moved and bounced back for that. I think getting that win at the last Cage Warriors would have done him the world of good for his confidence and stuff like that. That was a great fight in Glasgow that night as well. He got hurt, he rallied back, hurt the other guy, and it was probably fight of the night in terms of the action in it and stuff. I'm sure he's went away and fixed things for that fight in terms of how he got hurt and stuff like that, and added to his game. The French lad, he was actually matched with Mark, I think, on Bellator or PFL for about 2 or 3 weeks, and he pulled out. So I've had a look at him before. I don't know what his record is now, but I know he had 8 wins at the time when Mark was supposed to fight him. He's a kind of big upright kickboxer. I think he's for a kickboxing background. For a team of guys that predominantly are quite heavy striking influence have moved into MMA. I've seen some of their guys on regional shows over here and that. Again, decent. French kickboxers generally pretty good. But I think if Michael mixes everything up, it's his fight to win. And Michael's like that last fight, he was hurting his feet and he's came back. He's shown that he's got the ability to be hurt and fight back. So it's a good fight, that one, man. It's a very good test. It's a good test for him. Like the guy's experience, he's international. He's not a bum. It's not like it's not a fight that people expect him to walk through. But I think he can make that look like he's better than the guy. And I expect him to get the win in that fight.
Yeah. I spoke to him about obviously that Cage Warriors fight, that last one, and saying, "Look, how hurt were you?" And he's like, "Yeah." He it rang his bell, man. He felt it. Do you know what I mean? And it was just about, and that's where we talk about heart. I mean, fighters having heart and being able to pull through. Do you know what I mean? Getting hit with big shots, and do you know what I mean? Being able to kind of, because obviously it would have kind of put his focus all off for a few seconds, but and then as he came back, and he came back absolutely brilliant, and that was the thing. I mean, sometimes a fighter has to go through that just to show, do you know what I mean, what they're like. Do you know what I mean? Like, can I, if I do get hurt, can I come forward? Can I come back from it?
It's not a sometimes that, it's a definite. They need that. It answers a lot of questions. Like, you see these guys padding their records and stuff like that, and some of them are really successful with it, and they get all the way up to a certain level, and then they get hurt and they shit the bed. And he was definitely hurt in that fight. You could see it. Like, even when in between the rounds, the way he was walking back to the corner and stuff like that. And the good thing is now he's got that confidence knowing that I can go into these these fights, I know I can take a shot, I know I can get hurt, and I can fight back. So if there was, I don't know him personally, but if there was any lingering doubts in his head about that, maybe for what happened with the Tarek Bell shot and stuff like that, he can move past that now because he's been hurt and he's fought his way back.
Yeah.
And again, all fighters at some point need that. And they need it in competition. They don't need it in the gym. They need it. They need to be in a fight like that, and it answers questions. And again, he probably doesn't want to have too many fights like that if he's smart. Again, we talk about that. Like, the fights are going to come, but it's the timing there and when they come. If you're going to have a fight like that, you may as well do it for a shit ton of money with a lot of people watching, instead of like not getting paid enough to cover having to take 2 weeks off work and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So I think he'll be good on. I think he'll be good on Saturday. And I think he'll be confident after that last fight, and he'll be looking to come out and just show what he's capable of. And just mix his whole game up.
Yeah, definitely. And then Miles just coming in, reckons it's going to be Blair round 2 armbar. He could be right. I mean, obviously, I know that he does a lot of training over at Marcus Nardini's. He trains a lot over there with the grapplers over there. So he's mixing it up with some of the best grapplers in Scotland for sure. So, yeah, listen, Blair round 2 armbar. So let's see what happens with that. And then moving into the last 3. So obviously the last 3 big names, 3 big Scottish names. So Rhys McEwen up against Wesley Maya. So obviously again, Rhys is again one of the guys that's up there. Do you know what I mean? Obviously he's tipped to go all the way to the UFC. Do you know what I mean? He's been one of the kind of top guys, certainly coming through the amateur ranks and into the pro ranks. So a lot of people are very excited. Massive support as well whenever he steps out. So always has a huge support that follows him.
Yeah, he's popular for a reason, and he's always been like that. He's again good kid. I was reading about him when he was an amateur, when I was still in Glasgow and stuff like that. And I've obviously seen him progress and want him to do well. The work he's done at Cage Wars is similar to Aidan Stevens. He's been very good servant to the promotion. So had some great nights and stuff like that. I think he knows after the wee run he had and stuff like that, but it's maybe taking a wee bit of the burden or the pressure off him before, because everybody was talking about him. Title shots and maybe getting to the UFC and stuff like that. And I think sometimes when they're maybe not talking about that as much now, they're talking more about this comeback or redemption and stuff like that. And sometimes that can take pressure off you, and it can be a tremendous kind of motivator. And I think that's what he'll be banking on in Saturday. But make no doubt about it. But I think Wesley Maya might be the best guy who's fought to date, other than Gittins. He's one of the guys. Again, sometimes you watch him and you're like, he's going to go far. He's going to do whatever he wants in the sport, and then other times he struggles a wee bit. I was fortunate to see him fight a bunch of times during COVID when he first came to Cage Warriors, and sometimes it was absolutely frightening. You were just like, who the fuck is this guy? And then other times I'm like messaging people saying, you need to watch this guy, he's brilliant, and he would disappoint. He has been pretty good recently. He's physical, like he's good grappler, he hits hard. He has got an intensity about him when you meet him and stuff like that. He reminds me a wee bit of a guy through our gym called Dylan Took, where he's just intense all the time. He's got, even when you look at him and stuff like that, and that can be a wee bit unsettling sometimes. But at the same time, if you let him play into that, you can let that almost be his downfall a wee bit by letting him get tired and stuff like that. And conserving and managing his energy has been a problem for him in the past. If you watch his fight with Lewis McGrillen at PFL, he's beat Lewis McGrillen up for 2 rounds, like threw everything at him, and then gassed, and Lewis has came back and put it on him in round 3, and he's done that before. So there's going to be an element of, does Maya start fast and try and impose his sell on Rhys, and can Reece survive that?
Yeah.
At the same time, Reece has to go in there thinking, can I get him tired? And sometimes getting him tired means that you have to let him kind of win a wee bit. So even if he wins the first round, but the flip side of it is he's struggling going back to that stool and he's tired, then Reece is like, I'm still fresh, I'm going to go now, and I can manage the pace in the game. It's one of these fights where whoever's got the best game plan on the night might win this one. Whoever controls the speed of the exchanges, where the exchanges are taking place, and stuff like that. It might even be a case of whoever gets their offence going first wins.
Yeah.
It's an intriguing fight. Both of them are excellent. Maya seems to have a bit of a chip on his shoulder about coming up to Scotland. I think he will love that. He'll love getting booed. I don't think he gives a shit about that. He's had it before. I think he'll play in it. And I think on the flip side of that, Reece is in Scotland in front of everybody. Like he's 20 minutes from his house, so he needs to channel into that. And it might just come down to whose head's in the right space at the right time on Saturday night. I think physically and technically, both guys are good. It might just come down to what's psychological, who's handling the occasion and the fight better on the night.
Yeah. Do you think Wesley will get booed as much as Cameron Else did?
Maybe no, because he's Brazilian and no English. And Wesley's actually quite a likeable guy compared to Cameron Else, but he will get booed, man. He's any of the guys who are not Scottish fighters will get booed like you'd expect. But again, it might be better if they cheer him, because he's the type of guy that is like, I'll fucking show you for booing me. I'm pretty sure he's visualised that in his head, and it might be a factor. But it's a great fight, that one. It's a great fight.
Yeah. Plus, we know. I mean, we talked about Michael Blair obviously taking punishment in the last one. I mean, we saw Reece against Liam Gittins, obviously down in Newcastle. And, do you know what I mean? And there was at points where you thought, do you know what I mean, Reece? Do you know what I mean? He was going out. Was he going out? Was the referee going to stop it? Was the doctor going to come in? Do you know what I mean? And he took a lot of punishment, and he kept coming.
I don't think Reece doesn't get the credit for how tough he is. It's easy to look at him, I think, and underestimate him. And he did show spells in that fight. He was hurt in that fight, and he was behind for the majority. But again, even if you look at that fight late on in 4 and 5, he was having wee bits of success. He was still fighting back. He never capitulated or anything like that. He kept trying to find a way to win. And he might need some of that on Saturday, because again, Maya's he's a fast starter. He's a fast starter. But there is that element that he can, if he doesn't get rid of you, he can gas yourself out, try to beat you. And you know what it's like once your skill level and all that drops significantly, once you can't breathe and your legs, you can't move your legs as fast, and you can't see stuff coming and stuff like that. So it's a fascinating fight, that one. I think in terms of the psychology, more than the actual physical or strategical plans, but I definitely think whoever manages the occasion, and who manages the pace and stuff like that is going to have success there.
Definitely. Miles just reckon it's going to be potential fight of the night. Do you know what I mean? So, which it can be. Do you know what I mean? To be fair, I mean, we all know what the fight of the night is going to be. We all know what it's going to be. It's going to be obviously the main event. Do you know what I mean? But this is definitely going to be one of the ones that's up there.
I think Maya's got a tendency to be in fights of the night. Do you know what I mean? Like, whether he wants to be or not. And I think that the element of Reece being in Glasgow, it definitely changes stuff a wee bit. So I would agree with Matt. I think either that or Ryan Campbell and Sean Fraser could potentially be fights of the night.
Yeah. And then Miles just reckons it's going to be Reece split decision. Do you know what I mean? So obviously he's got it very, very close. He's going to have that very, very close, which could happen. Do you know what I mean? It could happen. So so Reece is one of the guys that, do you know what I mean? Obviously he's very, very good, but he comes on in the kind of later rounds as well. As you said, that round 4 and 5 against Liam Gittins, I'd say he did have spells in them 2 rounds. So yeah, potential split decision there by Miles. So, and then moving into the last 2, obviously Chris Bungard, Arthur's Leazans, is that how you pronounce it? So, Chris Bungard, again, the rumour is this could be one of his last ones as well. So, whether it is or isn't, so we'll find out on Saturday night. So, but again, big fan favourite. Bungard obviously comes out showman as well. I mean, absolute showman. He comes out to put on a performance. Obviously, the last couple he wasn't too happy with the last couple of performances. So yeah. How do you see that one going, James?
He'll know this will not be his last fight. He's talking about getting to 50 fights or something. So I think the pressure's off him a wee bit. I think the first couple Scotland shows there was a ton of pressure on him because he was closer to main event. The standard of the opponents he's had in him has been far higher than this guy as well. The Italian boy who went on to lose to James Powers was very good. The Brazilian guy that beat him that Sean went on to beat is just a fucking nightmare on short notice. Like, unless you can match him for physicality, it's going to be hard work. And then the guy's 80 odd kilos and he's 5'6". Do you know what I mean? It's like, how are you going to figure that out in 15 minutes when you've been preparing for someone else? So I know he was matched with this guy before, and the fight's obviously never happened. So he's obviously had an idea of how he'd have approached that fight. So the camp would have been easier. He'll know what guys to get to replicate and what his kind of general plan was. For what I had a look at this guy the day just because I knew we were talking tonight, and for what I've seen, he's not a bad striker. I think he's actually pals with the boy Alex Chisholm that Mark's competing again. They're both of the same country and stuff like that. Not a bad little striker, but I think when you double leg him, he tries to wrap your head. Like, he's not defending a double leg the way you would expect a good pro MMA fighter to do. He's jumping on the neck and hoping for the best. And I think Chris will be able to kick his legs to bits at range, like he does pretty well, and then time his shot, and then he's good on top. He just stay on top and chip away with elbows and just grind that guy down. I think the only chance that guy has got to upset Chris is if he catches him or something. And Chris is tough. Like, I don't remember it. I've seen him hurt with strikes, but I've never seen anybody wipe him out with strikes. And I don't think this is the guy to do it. He's been in there with better strikers. Guys even go back to like Terry Brazier and stuff like that. Like, these were guys that had the ability to do that and couldn't do it with him. So I think Cage Wars has given him a better opponent. I think they're probably due him a better opponent in Glasgow for promoting the shows and stuff like that, and then taking the risk with the Italian guy and then staying on the card with that wee Brazilian guy. And he would tough to, if you're looking at the guy briefly, it would be tough to really mess up to lose to the guy, I think. But I think he'll come out and he'll put it on that guy a wee bit. I think he'll stop him. He'll maybe sub him or something if he doesn't stop him with strikes for top with elbows or something.
Yeah, he's doing typical Bungard style as well. He's abusing the guy all over social media and stuff like that. So there's obviously been a back and forth between them previously. Do you know what I mean? So and just typical Bungard style. Bungard's one of the guys that gets in your head before you even get into the cage.
Sometimes when there's no like a genuine animosity there and stuff, and more often than not there isn't. You need to create it, and some guys need it. They need that niggle, and they need that back and forth, and that hatred and stuff like that, and it helps them get to the gym every day and stuff like that, or turn up on the night, and he seems to be that way. Again, I don't know too much about this other guy other than a fucking YouTube search this morning, but he's not been in with the same level of competition as Chris. And he's coming into, I don't want to call it the bear picks. It's a bit of Rangers connotation, but he's coming into Glasgow to fight to fight Chris, and again, Chris should be fine with him. He should just again put it on him right for the start, and get the any of the kind of lingering doubts he's had for the last couple times in that arena. Just get them out your head early, settle in. I think that's what happened.
Yeah, Miles just reckons there's going to be Chris Bungard, round 1 TKO. Do you know what I mean? And as you said, do you know what I mean? He's going to want to come out, especially the last 2 performances. He's going to want to come out and obviously make a statement on this one as well. Do you know what I mean? And try and put this guy away as early as possible. Do you know what I mean? So, so definitely, yeah, it's going to be an exciting. I think it's co-main event. I'm sure it's co-main event. It will be. So yeah, it's going to be definitely an exciting match and hopefully a good night for Bungard. So, and then obviously the main event, which is where he should be. Let's be honest, James. He should be main event. Do you know what I mean? I know that he's built up and built up. Obviously, he was a bit gutted that with the 50 grand tournament, but Sean was one of the guys where he was like, "Do you know what? It's all in God's plans," and he took obviously everything that happened very, very well. So yeah, main event: Sean Clancy Jr., Italo Gomez. So Sean, he's been getting a lot of Cage Warriors have done well for him, certainly throughout this kind of leading up to this fight. They've done obviously all the video stuff and so on. They've done a lot of the interviews and do you know what I mean? They put together highlight reel videos and stuff like that as well. So they've definitely done the right thing for him, James.
I think what you're seeing with is Cage Warriors have become aware of what they've got with Sean. And they're pushing him, they're promoting him. They know that there's a lot of potential there for him to go on and do massive things. And they're no daft, Cage Warriors. Like they do that with very, very few people. They're selective about who they do it with, and generally when they start doing that, it pays off for them. So it has been nice for them. It's been a different. We've had some different conversations with that type of stuff, like just trying to see it for what it is. And Sean does that very naturally. Like he knows he's not going to start getting a big head and getting ahead of himself because guys are saying shit. He doesn't pay a lot of attention to it. He's so single-minded about training and stuff like that it shouldn't worry him. But it has been deserved. Like he's done everything they asked him to. He's done it in style. He's got people talking about him. He's got eyes on him and stuff like that. And so far he's been pretty flawless at Cage Warriors. So again, Cage Warriors have a history of guys coming through and doing that, and they're in a better position than most to know what they're looking at when they see it.
Yeah. He's one of the guys as well. I mean, I'd say we talk about pressure and so on. I mean, obviously, Sean since a very, very early age, his dad and all that. I mean, they've talked about this since he was like 2 and 3 year old. Do you know what I mean? Where, do you know what I mean? One day you're going to be the greatest. You're going to be the best in the world. You're going to be the champion and all that kind of stuff. So that's been ingrained in his head since a very, very early age. So it's not something like, you know yourself, we talked about Reese obviously being under pressure a little bit. And whereas Sean, I mean, he's built for this. We talk about people that learn to fight. Sean was born to fight.
I think it's just second nature to him. Like he's done it since he was that young, but he also he sees it for what it is. Like it's a sport, it's a game to him. And he covers all the bases. Sean, he knows that he knows that he can fight. He knows that he's an athletic specimen, and he invests so much time in being technically proficient and sound that sometimes when you get these guys into fights, they can get by on one of the 3 things that they can. If they're a very good fighter, that's fine until they meet another fighter. If they're an athlete, they can do very well until they beat another athlete or a technician, and then most of the best guys have got. It's like sliding scales with it, where they're very good athletes, they're technically brilliant, and if you drag them into a fight, they will fight. Whereas there's a lot of pro fighters don't have that. You focus on one of the areas and you can beat them. So if you drag them into an athletic contest and you're athletically superior to them, you can beat them that way. Or if you make it a chess match and it's like my technique versus yours and I'm technically better, I can beat you that way. Or sometimes, and there'll be fights on this card like that, like we're talking about Damon and Paul, they're just like, we're fucking having a fight here. And if the guy hasn't got the stomach for that, then he's fucked. He's in trouble. Whereas we've been conscious with Sean, and probably his dad before me, was to make sure he was ticking all the boxes. And some of that you can't teach. Like there is just it does have an inherent ability just to fight him. And I've seen it for him at 15 and 16 when he's sparring with Stevie Ray and Stevie's getting ready to fight Joe Lozon or Michael Johnson, and I'm saying to Sean, you can do a couple of rounds with Stevie this week and stuff like that. And gradually these guys are coming up and they're like, Sean's giving me problems. And at 15, 16, 17, and these are like the guys that they're winning at a big level. But again, everybody's harping on about this. He's built for it and this and that, and to an extent he is. But at the same time, he's still got to get in there and train every day, and he's still got to do his job, and he's fully aware of that. He isn't buying into any of the hype at all. He lets it go right past his head. He doesn't care, because I was a bit worried about this with him. We always speak about this stuff. We all of the fighters. I'm like, look, eventually you're going to get more attention. There's going to be this. There's going to be this. There's going to be, and just see it for what it is. Nothing's changed. It's still fighting two guys in a cage and a referee, whether it's in fucking Grangemouth Town Hall or Braehead Arena. It's the same. It's the same, and everything else is just is Dylan calls it smoke bombs. Everything else is just an illusion, and you have to control that shit.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely is. I mean, he's a hard worker. He's got great family around him. Do you know what I mean? He's really, really great family that keep him grounded as well. Do you know what I mean? Very religious. Do you know what I mean? We know, anybody that knows Sean knows how religious he is. Do you know what I mean? He talks about it all the time, which also helps keeps him grounded as well. Do you know what I mean? So as you said, he's not one of these guys that's going to let it get to his head. He's not going to get. Do you know what I mean? No, that way he's not going to be like, well, I know I'm the greatest. I'm going to go out there and, do you know what I mean, and be all, no, like going out there and you see some of these guys jumping about, like Paddy Pimblett, for example. Do you know what I mean? Very, very good fighter, knows how good he is, but he's very extravagant with it. Do you know what I mean? So, and Sean's not that type of person. He's very, again, laid back, down to earth, quite timid as well, and quiet. Do you know what I mean? So, but then, as you said, that switch, as soon as it happens, he's a different person.
I think the thing with him is, look, when you see Paddy's being Paddy, like, that's how he is, and that's how he's successful. And Sean's the same. It would be easy for Sean to kid on his son that he's not. Like, you just have to look at him. He's built like a fucking bodybuilder. He could cut about and just act like his son that he isn't, and he's not interested. It was taught early on, just the easiest way for you to navigate through this and deal with everything that comes with it, whether it's the interviews or talking to promotion shit like that, is just be yourself. Just be yourself. And then he's quite a likeable kid. When you speak to him, he's intelligent, he's quite articulated, and people don't see that. And then obviously he can just let his fight. He could never talk. He could just turn up and fight, and people are going to talk about him. It doesn't need to. It doesn't need to do anything else. It doesn't need to go online starting beefs with people and shit like that. He'll just turn up.
Oh, so we're just waiting on James coming back. So normally you get a phone call or something. So we'll see what happens. So we're just waiting on him coming back. But I mean, Sean Clancy. I mean, we talk about Sean. I talk about Sean all the time. I'm a huge fan. Do you know what I mean? And obviously I've been kind of following him for a bit. Obviously through his amateur career, right into his pro career and stuff like that. So definitely very, very exciting. I mean, he's one guy that's obviously he's been tipped to go to the top for years. And we're very, very excited to see exactly where he's going to go. So sorry, James. You just caught up there for a little bit. I don't know. You hear me now, James?
I am back. That's my wife phoning me there.
So, but I was just saying, you know, I mean, Sean's been one of the guys that people like myself, people in the media and all that kind of stuff, when we followed him, we've seen him, and he's always been one of the guys that we talk highly of. Do you know what I mean? I'm a massive fan. Do you know what I mean? I've got myself into trouble and all that for kind of being biased towards him, which I'm always going to be. So, and he's always been tipped to go to the top. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's the guy, even since early in his amateur career. Do you know what I mean? There was a massive hype around him, and people were talking about him very, very early on.
Aye, and that's happened before. You just need to watch. There's pitfalls with that as well. Sometimes it's a good thing, people talking about you and stuff like that, and sometimes these young guys can get ahead of themselves because of that. But he's been careful not to. He's also seen teammates and stuff in a similar situation where they're tipped to be the next big thing, and it's fell through. He's in a fortunate position where he's learning for the mistakes that we made with other pro and amateur fighters over the course of the last 20 years. And he doesn't need to make them. And what will probably happen is he will make fresh mistakes. And guys like maybe his wee brother and stuff like that will get the benefit of not making the mistakes. So, but so far, everyone is on track with him. And just about every facet of coaching him.
Yeah, awesome kid, do you know what I mean? So, main event as well, do you know what I mean? As the main event in front of Glasgow, do you know what I mean? I know a lot of people, when they went to the last Cage Warriors, the tournament, they weren't disappointed with, obviously, his performance. He went out there and done absolutely fantastic, as always. They were just disappointed with what went on in regards to the tournament. They would have loved to have seen him going on and taking that 50 grand, but as Sean himself said, that he was... it was in God's plan. Do you know what I mean? So everything happens for a reason. So so this time everybody's going to get to see him main event, which is, I'm certainly sure for the Paisley people, they're going to be like, he's a main event every time he steps out there.
I think anytime he's went out for a fight, even amateur, we were like, we say this to a bunch of our guys, we're like, make sure everybody goes home talking about you. Like, just go out and do that performance, whether it's an amateur fight or a pro fight, and he takes that. You hear him talking about it. He's still at a stage now where he's concerned about how he wins. Like, he's still trying to be flawless, and he's still trying to chase this, no perfection, but he'll come into the gym after the last fight, and he's like, this guy took me down. I need to fix this. And how did he take me down? And blah 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 blah. And you've just won, like, and you've picked out a 15-second spell out of that fight where you weren't winning. But that's just his mentality, and then he's just trying to get better all the time. Do you know what I mean? It's a great mindset, and it'll pay off for him in the long run.
Yeah. No, listen, he's at a great gym. Obviously, you talked about all that experience that you guys have through the pros, the amateurs, your own experiences and stuff like that. The experiences with the Dinky Ninjas back in the day as well. So, so obviously he's with the right people. Do you know what I mean? This is the right time for him as well. Do you know what I mean? I'd say he's definitely one of the guys, and he's a role model for all the young guys in the gym and stuff like that come through. Not just young guys, older guys as well. Guys older than him, he's definitely a role model. So we're definitely buzzing to see what he's going to do on Saturday. So yeah, it's going to be an amazing night for the Clancy's for sure. So James, what's your pick of the night then? Apart from your own guys, what's your fight you're looking forward to seeing the most?
I think the Damon Donald fight, obviously, it doesn't really matter who Damon's matched against. I just like watching him fight. And then probably Reese versus Wesley. I think just again they're both very, very good professionals. They guys, like, they're experienced professional guys, and sometimes when you get two guys meeting like that, especially at the kind of the point in they're at in their respective careers, it's potentially going to be it's going to be an interesting fight. That one, it's going to be an interesting fight.
Yeah. So it's going to be another amazing night, guys. Cage Warriors 187 this Saturday. There's obviously still some tickets left. I'd say Cage Warriors made the announcement as well, which obviously we saw Reese posting, that under 16s are going to be allowed in for this one. So I don't know what the lower age limit. I know Aidan Stephen loves to take his baby in. I say baby, the kid's probably about nearly 2 year old, a year and a half old now. So So I don't know what the lower age limit is, but definitely under 16s are allowed to go in. So just double check if you are going to be taking the kids along. Just double check and make sure they behave as well. Make sure the kids behave. They're not running about like chaos, like some kids do. So, but I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. But so yeah, that's this Saturday, 19th of April. Again, hit up your chosen fighter for the link for the tickets. It's on UFC Fight Pass as well as always. So if you're not going to be in attendance, make sure you are watching it. You definitely do not want to miss this main event. This main event is going to be something special. As always, anytime Sean Clancy Jr. steps into the cage. So I think, James, you mentioned it as well. I mean, as I said, come along and watch this because this might be the last time you'll see some of these fighters fight in Glasgow. Do you know what I mean? Because I think you'd said it. I can't remember you said it. I think you were doing a podcast or you were talking about it somewhere. So but definitely come along and see these guys in case you don't get the chance to see them again.
I definitely check it. I think if you support the show, it's more likely to come back, which is what we need for the Scottish pro fighters. So definitely try and get along and support these guys.
Yeah. But listen, James, absolute pleasure. Thank you very much as always. It's always great speaking to you, seeing what you're up to, seeing what you're doing. So I'll be there on Saturday night anyway. So we'll definitely get a catch up. But listen, enjoy the rest of the week training. Hope everything goes well. Obviously, with the guys all weight cutting, I'm sure it will. The guys are all professionals. So, but listen, enjoy the rest of your week, buddy. All right.
Cheers, mate.
Take it easy. Bye bye.
Thank you.